Welcome back to another episode of the House Husband Diaries. As always, I am your host, Carter C. And today, Fenn family, we are on part two-ish of the whole education, embarrassing, educate, experience, teach theme smorgasbord. Today's part two. I'm focusing on experience and teachers, teaching, experiences, any of those, um, words. Just, yeah. So, without further ado, actually, I'm going to further ado this. Let's do this. Like the video. I don't know how much liking the video matters to YouTube, but subscribe. Please subscribe if you like my Fenn-related content. If you don't like my Fenn-related content, if you like my House Husband Diaries, just my life, sharing my life with you guys, my experiences with you on days where I don't do Fenn-related topics. If you do or don't like it, subscribe. And that way, I can build this channel. I can do more stuff. That's it. It's a shameless plug. It's if you like watching my videos, I know I get way more likes on the Fenn-related content than I have subscribers, or way more watches, way more views on the Fenn-related content than I have subscribers. So either people are watching. The people that are subscribed are watching my videos multiple times, like 3 or 4 times a piece, which I know is not the case. So if you are watching my videos consistently, I'm putting them out consistently. I just ask you to return the favor. I'm putting this content out here for free. I enjoy doing it, and you are enjoying consuming it. So just give me a little subscribe, and really, I put out a silly video when I was on vacation about trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. I know that's not going to happen. I doubt that video is going to go viral, but I really would like to get to 1,000 subscribers by my birthday, which is at the end of May. And if you could help me get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of May by just hitting a button, it's really no time out of your day. It just helps me out. And really, you start monetizing at 1,000 subscribers is apparently, I don't know. I watched something a long time ago when I first started the channel back in 1st of December, late November, and I don't even have any idea. I mean, I'm only getting a couple hundred views, 400 or 500 views a video right now. I'm only 2 months in, but I'm dedicating, this year to putting out a video every day. I've been successful so far through the end of January, into February. So I hope to keep it going. That'll be, almost 400 videos, 400 straight days of videos by the end of the year. And I'm going to do it. I'm determined to do it. So you're going to get videos, you're going to get content daily for a year. And so hopefully I can get 1,000 subscribers, and that way, maybe I'll get pennies from YouTube, and that'll be massively exciting. And then maybe one of these days I can get a backdrop, whatever, and make it all look fancy. Until then, this is what we're left with. All right. Are you ready for experiences in teaching, or do you want to hear me talk some more and kiss into the microphone? Everybody wants to hear that. Thanks, Carter. Okay, page 4. We're going to start right in. Just right in. It is right from the beginning. Right? So, he talks about gaining experience. So he says, down. Where is it? Oh, yes. Down, 1, 2, 3, Bottom of the third paragraph. Gaining experience wasn't always peaceful, especially during my early years of anxiety. Gaining experience wasn't always peaceful. Now, I doubt he had anxiety in his early years. I think that's a joke. But it's not always peaceful. And I think that's something when we look at stories in the book, where is he gaining his experience? Where is he being educated? Where is he learning? And then you take that and you look at the poem, he goes, where warm waters halt. Well, warm, he's also defined as comfortable. So where comfort ends is maybe also where peacefulness ends, where peace ends. It's where experience begins. I tend to use some words that aren't in the dictionary, and others that are, I bend a little. My only goal in this endeavor is to talk about a few of my life experiences, and if any readers over the age of 12 don't see a little of themselves in this mirror, then maybe they deserve another turn. Maybe I deserve another turn, and I do see myself in this. What do you think about that, Mr. Fenn? Maybe you deserve another round. It would be neat. I don't really believe in the reincarnation kind of deal, but it'd be really cool if you could do that. You know, you get another shot. If I had a previous shot, I don't remember it, and that's what's such a shame, right? I'm having to learn everything all over again if I've already been reincarnated. Ooh. All right. He's talking about experiences, so he's gaining these experiences. His only goal in this endeavor is to talk about his experiences. I think we need some experiences. What do you think? I think so. First grade, page 16. We're going to keep on going. There's a lot here to cover today. Right at the beginning, my father was a teacher at Lanier School when I started first grade. And after a couple years, he became the principal. His promotion was a really big deal because he got his own parking spot in front near the door where he went in. I remember standing there while he hammered the wooden sign, "Into the ground, Mr. Fenn, principal." Now, I'm moving on past teacher because I think this is interesting, and there's not really a theme at this point that I know for all of this. But hear me out. His promotion was a really big deal because he got a sign. He got his own parking spot that had a sign. He says, but I can't say the sign didn't make a difference in my life because it did. The sign, the blaze, where warm waters halt, a parking spot, crossing the street, a field of tall grass. But I can't say the sign didn't make a difference in my life because it did. No one else had a sign, so it was easy to notice. And I used to point it out to all the kids. Is that a subtle hint? There's something specific. No one else had a sign. He pointed it out to everyone. He's pointing it out. There's a parking spot put in below the home of Brown. Is there something there that he's pointing us to and we're not seeing it? I don't know. I wish I had the answers, but I don't. All right. I don't have all of them. I've got some of them. And I am determined to keep pumping these out, keep doing the research, and hopefully we'll be able to find this jazz. You know what I mean? Thanks so much for watching and the comments. I'm enjoying this so much and getting involved in the community and kind bring some trust so that people are more open to sharing, not like their solves or anything. I don't care about that. I mean, just some ideas, uh, things that are important that you find interesting. It's just fun to share the ideas that we have, not so much the individual solves, because I really don't care about most of your solves. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that in like most people that have a solve that they're really pumped about, it just doesn't even register with me. I'm like, yeah, that's not it. And I mean, maybe it is. I mean, 100% could be. I really just most everybody solves just seem silly to me. And I don't, that's why I don't have one. It's because nothing really, he says when you write, you'll just go with confidence right to the treasure chest because you've done enough reading and enough, whatever. And I don't feel like I've hit that point. I just don't want to go. He's also said if you just go and you don't have World Mars Hall and you don't have all your stuff, that you're just wasting money. It's folly, and I agree with that 100%, which is why I haven't gone. And I think I'm not so set on New Mexico. I'm not so set on this warm water solid or this blaze. I'm not trying to make anything fit a solve. I'm simply making spreadsheets and collecting all of the information I can in as unbiased a way as possible and going, this just doesn't really pass muster. And some of it is a feel. Some of it there is no logic to it. It's imagination. And does that imagination line up? And maybe my imagination and Forrest's imagination are completely different, and I'll never find it because of that difference. Because it's not logical. Because it's the imagination is just on a different wavelength. But I'm okay with that. All right. How was that? Good. Great. So he's pointing it out. There's a sign. His dad's a teacher. Should we learn something from his dad? I don't know. Page 21. Last sentence. No place for biddies. That'll teach those two. What'll teach those two? Because they're dead? Yeah, anyway, those two old biddies are probably long since dead. And what do I care if that'll teach those two because they died? Ooh, that is tough. Ooh. Man, don't get on the wrong side of Forrest Fenn. He'll teach you a thing or two. I think there's more in that. I think there's more in that little story, but I've covered that in other theme videos, and maybe I'll cover some more of it in future. Page 23 and page 24. I'm telling you, a lot. I gotta move faster. So, page 23. Halfway down the first paragraph. The good part was that I wasn't even smart enough to know I wasn't very bright until one day my teacher asked, Forrest Fenn, don't you know anything? I replied, Miss Ford, I don't even suspect anything. Then for some strange reason, what I had just said seemed to take on a purpose of its own. It was a primeval thought, but maybe it made me think deeper down. Down in the canyon, take the canyon down. Page 24. About halfway down. Her problem, Miss Ford's problem, by the way, was that she kept trying to teach me Spanish by talking Spanish all the time. I never figured out that technique. Besides, other important things were building up in my mind. Now, we're talking about teaching here, teaching and experience. I use teacher in any form of those words. I wonder if Spanish has something to do with it. Ojo caliente, agua fria. I mean, the more that I look at the map of New Mexico, because I do believe it's in New Mexico. The more that I look at the map of New Mexico, and the more Spanish words that I see, it could be a subtle hint. And he is saying, I never figured out that technique to learn Spanish, but that could be a subtle. Her problem was that she kept trying to teach me Spanish by talking Spanish all the time. I could see that being a subtle hint that, hey, they're Spanish. Because he loved that lady. He secretly loved that lady. Her problem was she kept trying to teach me Spanish by speaking Spanish. So then he hides it somewhere where it's Spanish. I can see it. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me if he threw a wrench in like that. All right, Bessie and Me, page 31. Sometimes teachers just don't understand. Last sentence. Talking about Miss Ford suggesting he should change his pants before class. Just like her to say something like that, if she had known I was running late for school, she might not have said anything. That's a silly sentence. I think there's something there. 33, my Spanish toy factory. My father was probably a little proud, and although I wasn't getting much education, I was sure getting experience. And you're right. I've read these same sentences multiple times across multiple themes. But is that confirmation? Is that an aberration? Is that a coincidence? I think there's some confirmation in there somewhere. I don't know how you marry it to a map at this point. But I don't have to know, right? I just keep reading the poem, keep reading the book. And keep an open mind. Be flexible. We got to speed this up. Page 45. His dad drove 50 miles out of the way on a 1,600-mile trip with no air conditioning down that dirt road to a one-room schoolhouse in Wyoming, just to show me what was written over the door. He who teaches a child labors with God in his workshop. He was so proud about that. You think that's true? I don't think that's true. Not calling Fenn a liar. I just don't think that's the true story. How would you know in 19 whatever, pre-World War II or during World War II? How would you know you're driving 1,600 miles on crappy roads in crappy cars, crappy tires, and you're going to drive 50 miles? Have you ever driven 50 miles down a little dirt road? You don't know a one-room school building. There's no way to find that out. There's no technology. There's no cell phones. There's hardly any landline phones. You're not driving. Gas is shortage. There's no reason why he would drive 50 miles out of his way to see a sign and to show his child. Period. No reason. If you're only driving 35 miles an hour, that's 3 hours of driving out of your way. I don't have kids, but every parent I know with a little kid ain't spending an extra 3 hours in the car with their kids. You know what I mean? To show them a sign that they could just say, but here's what the sign says: he who teaches a child labors with God in his workshop. Maybe it's true. It'd be interesting if it were true. But I think maybe that might be, it's either just a joke, a mess, or it's parts of it are true. And then the way he's describing it may be a subtle hint. That's what I think about that. Doesn't pass my smell test, but my sniffer ain't necessarily the right sniffer. You know what I mean? All right, page 78. We're crushing it. We're crushing it. We're getting there. 78, halfway through the book. Top of the page, or on first full paragraph. Many professional soldiers who have been in the throes of life or death experiences may be forever branded by an incident. Blah blah blah. I read this paragraph in the last episode with part one-ish of the education and embarrassment experience menagerie. Page 88. I don't think there's anything here. It's just I just want to just say that I'm covering my bases. Middle of the page. Then I experienced what was perhaps the most terrifying event of my life. First sentence of the next paragraph. I had experienced the effects of Operation Arclight. Like I said, it's just an experience. I don't know that there's anything there. I mean, I will say the next sentence after the first mention of experience, the most terrifying event of my life, the giant trees bent over and limbs broke as a shock wave of wind and noise blasted me to my core. The high bluffs behind me magnified the sound, and I thought my lungs might collapse. It was so traumatic. I felt that if it happened again, I might not survive. I just think he's sharing a story. I hope he wasn't there, but if he was, I'm sure it was terrifying. Page 95, last full paragraph. My experience beside the waterfall was on December 22nd, 1968. 2 nights later, I walked in my front door in Lubbock to be greeted by my lovely wife and 2 beautiful daughters. It was Christmas Eve. That's why people think it's a waterfall, his experience. Next page. 96. Middle of the page. As the months passed and I got back into the swing of Air Force life, which by then involved teaching other men to fly. So now he's teaching other men to fly. I think it's just normal for him to say that, but what if it's a metaphor for teaching all of us searchers to fly, to experience or to learn about higher things? What did he say? And I think it was in the last video. It seems prudent to what did he say? Research about higher things. He's teaching people to fly. Right there at the beginning. I don't remember. We'll go back and watch that. I don't know. He's teaching other men to fly. So many aberrations. 109. All right, teacher, teaching. This is teachers with rote. So 109 to 112, there's 1,000 mentions of teachers teaching. I'm gonna run through. I'm not gonna highlight everything. What I am gonna highlight is the parts of the story and the mentions that I think are important. Halfway down 110. Then about 20 students came in, single file, each holding fast to a large knot in a long rope. Do they really do that out in New Mexico? Grab a rope? Like they don't even trust kids to just walk? across the street. That's the second weird situation that you've described in your book, Forrest, about crossing street. Ladies, old biddies, two old biddies making fun of you, saying you can't cross the street, and now you're talking about uh, daggone 20 kids holding, a large knot in a long rope. When crossing the street, they look like a giant centipede. That's crazy. We can't even trust kids to cross the street. Anywho, I wonder if there's something to 20 knots, 20 leagues, 20 something, I don't know. It's interesting. Then he says, now I'm in charge. Once the teachers left. So now I'm in charge. You can touch anything you want. I wonder if he's in charge, if he's teaching us something. So, because he's in charge now. So the teachers have left. Is he saying, hey, now I'm in charge? And this is when he talks about the cold bronze. And he always thought that was a good way of teaching the kids, right? And then I'm moving to page 111 and 112. I always thought that's how you should teach a child, hands-on and personal. The bronze is cold, it's cold, it'll be worth the cold. I don't know. I think people are pretty unanimous on it. That's interesting. It kind of ties into the poem there. Page 119, back at Father on the Banco. They said it was a religious experience. Last sentence. Burning the papers to the mortgage once they owned it. Now, what papers were they burning? To be sure, they weren't burning the contract that said it's yours, the deed. Were they mailing monthly statements or something? Maybe those are the papers they burned. If you finally own it and you get the deed, then you burn it. It's not yours anymore, right? Okay, page 121. Second paragraph. June, July, and August in Yellowstone seemed to pass so fast when I was a kid that I often wondered if maybe summer somehow missed the turn there. Summer, missing a turn, no paddle up a creek. People have been 200 feet. They walk right past the treasure. Did summer miss a turn, or is he trying to tell us something? When the days started to yellow with falling leaves and the mallards began flying south again, I always knew tough times for me were just ahead. No place for the meek. Visions of classrooms would loom larger and larger, cutting in to the best times of my life. Tough times were ahead. No place for the meek. Classrooms. Easy. Nothing came easy. Experiences. Over the years, so many bits and pieces had to be left behind, and a few mind-expanding experiences were to remain unknown. (124) Today, as my thoughts drifted by, en route to new ideas to be tried and new experiences to be had. So if his thoughts were drifting by on their way to new ideas and new experiences, why would he pull an old book from the shelf that talks about old places where he used to fish? If he's talking about new experiences, is his new experience hiding the chest? I don't know. Did he hide the chest before he wrote the book? He hid the chest before he finished the poem? I don't know. There's some debate. I'm not going to get into that debate. I don't think it helps, honestly. I think we got to figure out where warm water salt. Then we got to figure out the next clue. Then we got to figure out the next clue. Then we got to figure out the next clue. The next clue. The next clue. Because apparently if you figure out the first clue or two, you can still walk right by the chest. Yeah. How crazy is it that the people that have walked right by it they're just going to be like crazy that they walked by it 8 years ago. Oh, I'll be so mad if I was that close and I was just missing it. This is the positive about being 2,000 miles away from the Rocky Mountains. I don't have to worry about it. It's so far away. If I ever do make a trip, I'll make a trip and it'll be that. But and if I was over there and I was going out every weekend and I knew once it was found that I had been within a couple hundred feet, I was in the right general area, that would just be, that'd be so bad. All right, 136, 4 more mentions, and then we'll get out of here. Talking about the horseshoe. The pinging sound of his pounding hammer against iron and anvil was thrilling to me, in a romantic sort of way. It had a certain cadence that was an integral part of the total experience, as were the fumes from his forge that permeated the whole episode. I could have just as easily been watching a smithy in the 7th Cavalry shoe a horse. Those things are important, and I'm richer for it. So it shows you right there that Forrest's imagination, he can be there watching a present day friend of his make a horseshoe for him, and he takes in all the experiences, the sounds, he uses all of his senses, his sight, the sounds, the smells, and then he transports himself via his imagination back to the 7th Cavalry. An integral part of the total experience. I think there's something there. What's the total experience of the poem? In the book. I think there's something that when we figure out the total experience, the big picture, it'll all make sense. Page 139, talking about the casting of the bronze bells with the screw-on lids. My friend Tommy Hicks, who owns Shadoni Foundry, didn't know how to cast jars with screw-on lids, so I had to teach him. It's a secret technique that I discovered when I ran my own art foundry many years ago. It's a secret technique he had to teach. Was there a secret technique to the point? To the imagination? I don't know. All right, last two, epilogue, page 145. I shared this several times in the last video. Only an experience can teach thoroughly, and with a speed that is not always available in the classroom. Embarrassing incidents educate the best and the fastest and can come with a lasting sting. On page 147, the last mention will get out of her bottom. The past will always be contradictory when told by one person at a time. I feel my life has been a rough draft of the place just ahead where the past will come alive again, and all of my experiences and friends through the years will meet with me at the great banquet table of history. Then there will be no past. Now, I think there's a common thread, a theme of experience and teaching, education, embarrassing moments. Teach us the quickest, not in the classroom. I don't know exactly who in the book is supposed to teach us. Forrest looks up to his dad, who says he loves these old ladies. His mom, Skippy, There's a lot of people to look to, and even Forrest himself, because he taught his friend how to cast jars. But really, what we're looking for is the experience, the thrill of the chase. And the thrill of the chase isn't just about finding the treasure chest, it's about being outside, it's about the people that we meet. So when we look at the big picture of life, of the impact that we have on each other, the impact that we have on the next generation, obviously we don't have an impact on the past. I mean, I guess unless you're a historian or an archaeologist, and maybe you can shape the future's view of the past, but you don't change their lives in the past. They've already come and gone. When we look at the big picture of education, of the chase, what are we learning that moves us closer to the treasure chest? That's obviously the end goal. But as I said in the marathon, K-Pro and Cal's marathon, when I was in the after party talking about Indiana Jones, because Mike Cowling had looked up that Time magazine and seen that there was an article about Indiana Jones or something like that. I don't remember the whole deal, but if our priorities aren't in the right place, and if we're really just after the gold, I don't think we'll find it, because I think there's a story there that's not just about trying to find gold and selfish greed and all of that jazz. I mean, he says, casual cash propagates idle hands or something like that. And so I think there's something more to be taught, something for us to learn. There's a bigger picture about life and death and being remembered and making a positive impact on children and on the next generation. And there's something about that ties into this chase. I don't know what it is, but I think that's more the route. I don't think it's just find a hot spring, find a canyon, take it down, find some home of brown, put in, and then find your blaze and get a treasure chest. Find a creek where you don't paddle. I don't think it's that literal. And I don't think he's trying, I don't think his lasting gift to the world, to the future next generations, is a simple poem about a map and about geological features that are just simply that. They're, just a canyon, just a creek that's dry unless snow melts or there's a big rain. It just doesn't fit for me. It doesn't fit who Forrest is. I don't know Forrest at all. Never met the guy. I don't know anybody he knows, I don't think. I mean, I met Christy once at a Raleigh meetup, but I don't think our worlds really cross over much at all. But when I look at people like Forrest, it just seems it would be beneath him and beneath his legacy for it to just be a geological or geographical map. There's something deeper that we need to learn. There's something about our experiences and the education and his experiences that he shares in his memoir, and that's about a deeper meaning. That's the big picture. And I think that is, when we're looking at the bigger picture, it's like, you remember back in the 90s when they had all those posters, and Dave Matthews' CD came out, it was Remember Two Things. And it had and it's all that pixelated stuff, and you have to stare past it, and then your periphery somehow pulls together an image. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not doing a very good job of explaining it, I don't think. But for a while there, those posters were like the jam in the 90s, and it was like, oh, and you don't see anything, you just see a bunch of pixelated splotches, and you have to like zone out and like stare through the paint, the poster or whatever, and then your eye somehow will focus and see a hidden picture in there. And I feel like that's almost what we have to do with this poem, is that we have to stare past it. It's not just the where warm water salt, the geographic. It's not just, oh, go, whatever. It's like you have to stare past the words and get to the deeper meaning of the bigger picture. And then it'll come into focus. And then I feel like it will. I feel like it'll come, it'll just fall into place. I don't know if that's true or not, but that I have enough trust in Forrest, preparation and all that he put into this chase to make it worthwhile. He says that your effort will be worth the cold, whatever that means, right? But I definitely think that there's something here that we need to learn, education, and through experiences, and that he's trying to teach us something, and wants to teach a lot of other people. So without further ado, I will end this because I'm starting to babble. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this kind of mini two-part theme of education, embarrassment. Let me know what you think. Let me know if we're getting anywhere. If you're just hearing the same things over and over. Let me know if you want me to go to 4 days a week rather than 3 days a week with Fenn-related content, as I've got more and more stuff to share. We'll just see. And don't forget to like and subscribe, mainly subscribe. But thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys have a great day. Until next time.